So we're gonna discuss in the stream perspective, information, religion, big cities, alcohol, hotels, money, weapons, spot tracker device, and people's behavior. All right. I have two people. Russell Duncan. Hello, good evening. How are you doing, man? Is everything alright? Video, audio, is everything alright? Please let me know. Matthias. Good evening, Matthias. I'm very well, thank you. As we can see, we still got daylight. The days became longer. Very well. Okay, audio is good, video is good. So as I said, now it is 8 o'clock here in Bulgaria, and it is still light outside. This makes me happy. Wim Ross, hello, how are you doing, man? We've got interesting discussion today. I hope that it will be useful for you and many people that will watch the stream later. Anyway, the weather is getting better day after day. Today was like 20 degrees. I just come back 30 minutes ago. I was riding all day, very good. And the last 30 minutes I just make some notes here and prepare myself for the stream. But yes, the day was excellent. And as I said, the days are longer now. The weather is better. Very well. I hope that your week was good as well. Russell, Matthias, Richard. Good evening, Richard. And Wim Ross. 4 people so far. Alright, so I can start now. Today's topic is going to be how to protect yourself and avoid problems on a long motorcycle trip. This is interesting topic. I have a lot of things to tell you on that matter. And if you expect me to have some kind of tricks or expensive gadgets that will help you, you have to know that I have none, zero. Everything that I'm gonna tell you here is based on my experience with my trips, being in many countries around the world, and everything that I'm gonna tell you costs nothing except one. So we're gonna discuss in the stream perspective, information, religion, big cities, alcohol, hotels, money, weapons, spot tracker device, and people's behavior. And for each one of these I'm gonna tell you everything that I know. So let's begin. For people, the usual stuff. So to travel abroad might sound scary for many people, especially if you never done it before, especially if you plan to go to a country that is different than yours. I mean, religion. This is the most scary thing that most of people are afraid. But in reality, it's completely different. There is nothing to be afraid. But anyway, people are afraid because of the unknown. Usually this is how our brain works. When we don't know something, we are afraid. But once you step on that field and see it, next time it's going to be much easier. So first of all, nothing to be afraid, and there are no terrorists around the world just pointing you and waiting you to come to their country to kill you. This is bullshit. And as I said, it could be scary to travel around the world, and the news makes it even worse. If you turn on your television now, you're gonna see only problems everywhere around the world. Let's say that you want to go to what country? Pakistan. You want to go to Pakistan, and if you check the news, if you check information that you're gonna find online about Pakistan, it will be only problems, terrorist attacks here and there, people are up on the street, and blah, 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 blah. But the reality is completely different. And even now, the topic that is more actual, Russia. If you watch the news now, everything you're gonna see is just Russia is very bad country, people are put in prison for nothing, and so on and so on. I don't want to go on this topic because it's too political, but this is what I mean. If you check the news, you will actually cancel your trip because it will sound even scarier than before. So you don't need to believe to the news. I'm going to tell you how to avoid this and how to actually find a trustful information a bit later. But the first thing that I want to tell you is that you don't need to be afraid of anything. So the first thing that I'm going to discuss and the tip that actually I'm going to give you is to change your perspective. I'm sure that you have heard the phrase that if you change the way you see the world will change for you. I know that it might sound very, how I have to say, like cliche or the way of positive thinking, but this is actually the reality. If you believe that wherever you go, someone will attack you and will take your money or even your life, guess what? Sooner or later it will happen, because this is your main fear. You don't need to be afraid. So if you change your perspective, the world will change for you. If you believe that the world is full with nice people, it will be full with nice people. If you believe that the world is a dangerous place and there is crime everywhere, of course, you'll be right. This is your understandings about the world. For example, I never been afraid from different countries, but I travel around the world from many years. The first time when I left my country was in 1999. And of course, the first days I was a little bit curious what is going to be, but I cannot say that I was afraid. But anyway, this is a different story. But as I said, if you change your perspective, the world will change for you. And let me give you one example. As you know, I always love examples. And this example is not really related to motorcycle trips, but it is just a good example how your brain treats you, how your brain lie you all the time. So when I was, let's say, between 15 and 25, even to 30, I was very aggressive person. Bulgaria was different back in the days, and I was like young guy, tough guy. I was aggressive person. I was fighting from 7 days of the week. I was fighting at least 10 times. And it was madness here in my life. Russell Duncan, the world is full with good people. Sickles, yeah, we're here now. So my life was madness, and my wife always telling me that one day someone will kill you. But I was just different type of person. But one day I met one of my school friends and schoolmates. We were together in the school, let's say 10 years ago, and I met him on the street. And we stop in the first local coffee and start to chat each other. And I noticed that he has a piercing here on the eyebrow. He has a piercing like this. And I said to him, his name was Svetlo. I said to him, Svetlo, what is this bullshit here? And he said, well, this is piercing. This is just a fashion. It's nice, yeah. I said, what are you talking about? If someone punch you in the face, it will just cut your eyebrow and probably damage your eye. And he looked at me and said, why someone need to punch me in the face? And I explained again, because if you fight with someone and if he hit you in the face with fist or with leg, whatever, or with something, it will cut your eyebrow. And he looked at me once again without understanding anything and asked me, why I have to fight with someone, and why someone need to hit me? I said, Svetlo, because we're men sometimes argue, even fight, and this is what is possible to happen, to be punched in the face. And he said, I never fight, and why should I? Is this the only solution? I said, yeah, but if it happens, I was so I was pushing again and again, just he need to understand my point of view, and he couldn't. He said, no, I cannot understand you. I never fight, and I will never fight. And then something knocked on my head. I said, well, he just see the world differently. So my world was full with violence, and I was an aggressive person, but his world was peaceful. And how that is even possible? We live in the same country, in the same neighborhood, and we're on the same age. How that is even possible? But it is possible. That's why if you change your perspective, if you change the way you see the world will change for you. Remember it, and you'll see what will happen. Anyway, this was the first thing that I want to tell you, a little bit long, but I hope that you got the idea. And after that, what you have to do is to find as more as possible information about the country you plan to travel. But when I say find as more as possible information, I don't mean to turn on the TV and see what they will say. I already told you about it. You have to find a trustful source of information, read books, read some real stories, watch videos about the place, but independent videos, not the videos that you can find in your Netflix or mainstream media. You need something like YouTube, for example. People that's been to the country and show you the real country, not paid videos, not National Geographic videos, just real people that makes videos. Find people that already been in this country and talk to them face to face. Okay, for example, now if you want to go to the countries that I already been, you can talk to me and I will tell you what is my honest opinion about this country. Is it good or bad? So I already told you that the world is wonderful, and I said it so many times that every place deserves attention, but I can tell you for one country, for example, Morocco. I did not like Morocco. Morocco, it's a wonderful destination, I mean from motorcycle points of view, but people are not really good. It's not that they want to harm you or to rob you, but they are just too pushing you for everything. They begging for money on every corner, and this is just annoying. You stop on this coffee, for example, to drink a tea, and they said, give me money, give me money. Okay, I'm gonna give you some money, but just make something for me. Then you stop in your hotel and they said, give me money, give me money. You say, okay, I'll pay the hotel, but why should I give you money just like that? And they always try to sell you something, and that's why I did not like people in Morocco. I'm just telling you the truth. But as a destination, as a place of interest or motorcycle point of view, wonderful country. So if you want to go and visit Morocco, do it. But when you ask with someone like me, he will tell you his opinion. It's not only my opinion. Everyone will tell you that these are the Moroccan people. They're always begging for money for everything. For example, you go to a big market and there are a lot of interesting things. And when you take your camera to make a picture of something, they'll say, you have picture, give me money now. And this is a little bit annoying, as I said. I never got such an experience in other countries around the world, only in Morocco. Anyway, as I said, forget about television, read books, real stories, watch videos about the place, find people that already been to that country and talk to them. Learn about different cultures and traditions. This is very important. Now I'm going to give you another one example. If for example, you need to visit a Muslim country, they've got a different traditions. Just because in our country it's normal to go and talk with women, it is not the same in the Muslims country. You just cannot talk with women on the street. It's not polite, and if there are men over there, you'll be in trouble. That's why if you learn what traditions are, you will know that and you're not gonna make a mistake. This was just an example with the women, but it is possible to happen in many different situations. And learn what is the proper way to behave in that country. Another example, again from Muslim countries, I can tell you now, is that it's not really a good idea to go on the street with shorts. They prefer to go with normal trousers, with long, I don't know the word, whatever, but with shorts. We Europeans, when it's too hot, we prefer to go with shorts, but they don't really do it. It's not that someone will make a problem, but this is just a normal way how they go on the streets. Anyway, I hope that you got the idea that you need to find information about the specific country with the proper sources of information. And let's now go to another one, religion. I already gave you one example with a Muslim country, but religion, whatever it is, you have to respect it. Respect any religion and don't flock with yours. Just because I'm, for example, Christian, or you're probably Christians, most of you, as I can see your names. It doesn't mean that there is nothing better than Christianity. So respect any other religion and don't flock with yours. Some people are very sensitive on this topic, and you don't know what kind of people you're going to meet. But on the other hand, if you're respectful, it doesn't matter what religion, people will always be friendly with you. So when you see, for example, mosque, you don't need to go with your shoes in. Remove your shoes if you want to go to the mosque. Be respectful. Or if it's a Buddhism, any temple or whatever, just be respectful. This is number one about religion. And the second, don't try to teach others. Don't try to teach others that your religion is better, or why don't they change the religion, or something like that. You're not a teacher, you're just foreigner, you're motorcyclist, you're visitor of their country, so don't try to teach anyone. And don't try to change anyone. And because some things cannot and will never be changed in these countries. As I said, they've got a specific traditions, rules, regulations that are run like that from thousands of years. And just because you came now to this country and you're Christian, or you probably are not happy with how they treat their women, you want to change everything. You cannot change it. There are so many wars already done for so many thousands of years, and they are still the same. You cannot change them just like that. And freedom of speech, or the people rights, women rights, forget about it. You're not there to do this. You're not politician. As I said, you're motorcycle rider. Go there, drive with the flow, finish your mission and go home. If you want to change something, change your kids at home, not people on the street. Don't judge them. The same story. Stop believing that just because I already told you you're Christian, or you're coming from America, from Britain, from Europe, whatever, just because you're coming from a bigger country, you're better. No, you're not better. You're just, as I said, we are just motorcycle travelers, we are visitors, we are tourists, came to this country. Accept it, and that's it. And when you finish, go home. Another topic that I would like to discuss is big cities, because if you ever got any problems on the road, on the different country, it will be probably in the big cities. So my advice to you is just to try to avoid big cities. This doesn't mean that you don't need to go into the city at all. No, absolutely not. There are so many beautiful big cities that deserves to be seen. But what I mean to avoid big cities is, for example, if you want to go and visit, let's say in Morocco, Marrakesh. You want to visit Marrakesh, and you should visit Marrakesh because it has an interesting market that really deserves to be seen. But you don't need to book a hotel in Marrakesh. You can book a hotel in the town nearby. First, it will cost you less money. And secondly, during the day, you can go to Marrakesh, visit it, see everything that you have to see, and then later in the evening move to your small city, which is way better, way cheaper, a small community. People will not, people are different, just different. In the big cities, especially if you decided to go somewhere during the night, you might have problems. I'm not saying that you will have definitely, but you might have problems. If you try to avoid big cities, you will eliminate these possible problems. And the next advice that I can give you, it's again related with the cities, and not only with the cities, any place you go, don't drink with locals. Because people are usually good, but the alcohol, it's a, you know what is alcohol? People might be very nice, but after a few drinks, they became just impossible to do anything with them. They became terrible. So don't drink with locals. The example that I can give you now, you know, Russians, they drink a lot, mostly vodka. But on my way to Mongolia, even the Russians told me, don't drink with Mongols. I said, why is that? Because they are terrible. They cannot drink, and they always are on big groups, and they always got the knives. And if they get drunk, they will take the knives and might have a problem. So even Russians said, don't drink with Mongols. So my advice to you, don't drink with locals, because you don't know what kind of people you're going to meet. And they might be really nice, but after a few drinks, disaster. The next point that I would like to tell you are hotels. Always choose a normal, not expensive hotel. Don't look like a fish that is ready to be eaten. If you go to an expensive hotel, it's more likely that someone will believe from the site that you've got a lot of money. Even if you have a lot of money, I don't mind at all, just don't go to the most expensive hotels. If you have expensive motorcycle, it is already provocation, but expensive motorcycle and expensive hotel looks like, oh, wonderful, we have a victim. So don't go to the most expensive hotels, always try to find something more simple, and you have to look like a simple guy, that's it. And no one will even have any interest from you. And finally, when you've got your hotel outside of the big cities, and even if you decided to talk with people around which one you should do it, because people are nice, always tell them just what they need to know. You don't need to explain everything. You don't need to explain, okay, I'm Pavlin, I live in Bulgaria, I have YouTube channel, I plan to go here, 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 there, I have that amount of money. You don't need to tell them all of that. You just can tell them your name, where you're from, and what is your plan, and that's it. You don't need to explain them from here, I'll go to the next town on that road, and then, because you never know what kind of people you're going to meet. I hope that you get the idea. Just give them enough to keep the conversation going, but not that much that they will be able to learn everything about you. Now, the next point that I would like to discuss are money. Be careful with your cash, because if you plan to visit some of the countries around the world, like let's say third world countries, credit cards means nothing over there. So you need cash. You have to have cash with you, and just be careful with your cash, because once again, people are good, but money could be really powerful stimulation for many people to change their normal behavior. So I will advise to keep in your pockets the money that you use all the time, every day, to keep just a small amount that you need for the day. For example, if you know that today you're going to spend $50-$60, just keep in your pocket $50-$60. The rest of the cash, hide somewhere, in your jackets, hidden pockets, in your boots, whatever you like, but hide it somewhere. I have heard many times people got this like fake wallet. It might work. I never done it, but anyway, just keep your daily budget in your pocket, and the rest of the money, hide it somewhere. So let me give you why. Let me tell you one example why. When I was in Central Asia, I think it was in Uzbekistan, yes, in Uzbekistan, because of the currency rate, when you change money, when I changed $100, they gave me one big bag of money, just like this plastic bag full of money. And they've got a huge inflation, and actually you're going to drink tea with 5,000 from their money. It was funny anyway, but the problem is that you have to keep this money somewhere, and when you keep it, they look like they looks, and they are a lot of money for them. They might be nothing for us. $100 are nothing, but for them it's a lot of money. So actually I need to hide this big plastic bag in my saddle bag, and just take a few notes and keep it in my pocket. And another example that I can give you is Dima, my riding friend Dima. For this trip, we've got with us something like $2,000 in cash. We had it with us, and they were split on small notes, like $10 or $20, to be easy to pay. For example, hotel $10, you pay with $10, and that's it. But I was keeping my daily budget on my pocket, but Dima was keeping this $2,000 all together in his pocket, even though I told him a few times. And Example, we stopped in front of the hotel, very busy street, a lot of people everywhere, bicycles, motorcycles, cars, people everywhere, and the hotel is on that side. And I went there, checked the hotel, and it was $10 for the room, and I came down and said to Dima, give me $10, it is I'll go to pay the room. And he took this $2,000 from his pocket, tried to pinch $10, but he couldn't, and split all of this $2,000 on 10 and 20 notes everywhere. And all the people around going like this. And I said, man, what are you doing? And he just stopped it, removed the helmet, put the glasses on, and started collecting all of this money. And all of these people around were look at us like, oh, shit. After this situation, I said to him, Dima, please listen to me. Split your money, daily budget, and the rest hide somewhere. What you have done just now, it's not good at all. Anyway, split your money, be careful with your cash, and don't provoke people. That is my advice. If you're not careful with your money, if you're not listening what I just told you, and you behave like you normally behave in your country, you will increase the chances to be robbed, because money are stimulation. All right, the next one that I would like to discuss are weapons. I have heard many times people carry some kind of weapons. It is not necessary, in my opinion. You can have, let's say, a knife, pocket knife, foldable knife, you can have with you. Not because you will defend with this knife. You can, if it's necessary, but it will be handy to have a knife when you travel. You can use it for many different purposes, even to cut bread, sausages, or cheese, whatever you eat on the road. But if you carry a knife with you or small axe, please hide it somewhere. Don't put it on the visible position, because some people might get really upset when they see it. And they may change their first impressions about you just because of that. So if you have a knife or axe, hide it somewhere. Other weapons like firearms, you wouldn't be able to have anyway because of the borders, because of the police, but a knife you can have. And again, my advice is to have a foldable knife, not the knife with a big blade, because in Germany, for example, you're not allowed to have a knife with blade longer than 7 centimeters and non-foldable. And you could be arrested actually on the street. And it's not only there, in many other countries. So if you have a knife foldable, keep it in your pocket and no one will even notice it. And in worst scenario, if you are attacked, or if someone wants to rob you, or in any other situation, if you really need to use this knife, take it, make it fast, and run away, because you're in different country, you don't know how many people will come on your head after 10 minutes. So use the knife first to scare people. If you cannot scare, pinch it somewhere in the arms, don't try to kill them, or in the ass, and then run away. That's everything about weapons. I cannot tell you anything more. Tenere traveler, trust your gun in any situation. It doesn't feel right, just quietly leave. Find somewhere else to stay, eat drinks. Your experiences in life have told you how to assess risks. Yeah, I agree. If you just don't need to behave like a victim. If you behave like a victim, sooner or later, someone will come and probably rob you. But if you walk around with confidence, if you know what you're doing, if you take a minimum measures to avoid problems, you will never have a problems. I've been to so many places, even places that people said, "Oh, this is terrible. You'll be kidnapped. You'll be robbed," and I've got no problems at all. Zero problems. Now you might say, "Yeah, Pavlin, but you're a big guy, and how does it help?" If you look like victim, even if you're big, you look like victim. That's it. End of the story. So to know your situation, to know where you're going, to have some confidence, and to avoid or to try to avoid problems, will always help. So let's go back to the topics here, and the last point that I would like to discuss now is this spot tracking device, because some people are afraid and they would like to have it. And they're a good option to have Spot with you. Your relatives at home, they will be able to track you all the time, to see where you are at every moment. They've got this SOS button, you can press it and you will receive help. And also you will be able to track your days day by day. You'll have everything in the map on the computer when you come back home. They've got some downsides. I've got spot tracker device twice on my trips. First was on Central Asia, the second was in Morocco. But after that I never had it with me. And the reason is simple. It's not about the money. They've got money. They've got this monthly subscription. How much it will cost you? This is easy part, and it's nothing so stressful. But what is happening with my experience with all of this? My family are stay at home and they're checking the Spot device, and they're checking my location all the time. And when the Spot device for some reason stuck for some few hours, or show a wrong position, location, everybody at home said, oh, what is happening? They stop, maybe accident, maybe problem. They start to call me on the telephone. Is everything all right? Why you don't moving? I said, well, we have lunch now. Why we have to move all the time? So this is like a knife with two blades, two sharp sides. It's good, it's useful. You might use it in many situations, but it also got some negatives, like as just told you. If you want to have a spot tracker device, go buy one and use it. Not really something that you have to have it, but it's a good option, or maybe it will give you some kind of peace of mind if you have spot tracker device, that you're not going to be lost, you're not going to be kidnapped, even though this device cannot protect you at all. So in general, people everywhere are good. The best way to protect yourself, instead of seeing an enemy and threatening every person, focus on the good side and the future friendships. This is what I can tell you. In so many countries that I have been, I already told you, I've got zero problems. I never felt in danger. I never see someone that would like to rob me or to steal my motorcycle. So it's all about you. Russell Duncan, good advice. I was thinking about doing that for the first time on my next trip, but you're right, of course. My wife will focus on too much and worry. Yeah, absolutely. Also, let me tell you something that you probably missed on this spot tracker device. It doesn't matter what brand you're going to buy or whatever you decided. The tracker itself is nothing. You need monthly subscription, or whatever days you plan. Let's say you have a 1 month trip, you have to pay for 1 month for this spot tracker device, and it will give you location. Your people at home will be able to see it, but it's again depends on the level that you pay. For some of these spot tracker devices, if you pay, let's say, $30 or $50 per month, you will be able to check your location once per week or once per day. If you want to check it more, then you need to go to another plan, which will be already not $50, it will be $100. And then they will have different options. This will be only to check your location. But then if you want to use a SOS button, or to ask for help, ambulance or something like that, then you have to pay another price. It's another plan. So the first will be just to check your location once per week. The second will be to have multi-check location checks. The third will be location checks plus SOS button and helicopter rescue and stuff like that. But another thing that most people do not understand, even if you pay for SOS button, if you press this SOS button, that means the local hospital or local rescue team will come and find you. Yes, they will find you, but who will pay for it? This is another thing that you have to consider. And when you already paid for your spot tracker device, let's say you paid to buy it, then you got this monthly subscription, and then you have you have to have an insurance, because finally someone need to pay to this ambulance or to this chopper that will come to rescue and your treatment at hospital. They are not covered from the from the spot or from the plans that you have paid. And when you check the prices of the insurances, they start from something like 500 euros for 1 month. They are very, very expensive, and they do not cover everything. So they also got their plans and their limitations. So all of this, it's a very complicated situation, and you always need to know that insurance companies, it doesn't matter how good or rich they are, they will always try to avoid payment if it's possible. So even if you make only one simple mistake, for example, if you have a problem, you need to call them and they will tell you in what hospital you need to go. Even if you miss just one point, you did not call and you just went to the hospital that you planned to go, and they will not pay. This is just one of the examples, but they've got actually a lot of terms and conditions that you have to read, usually in fine print. And if you're on hurry, if you just sign like that, more likely that you're not gonna get any money. The other day I've got a problem here with my father, and we need a lawyer, and it was one case here, medical case. But anyway, one of the guys that came to this court was a former insurance agent. And we talked a lot about insurances because I don't really trust them. And I explained him the situation. Let me tell you this story. It's a bit long, but I hope that you'll get the idea. Now, usually I don't make any insurances, but before my last trip to Europe, I made one. And when I went to 3 different offices, I asked them a few questions. I think I told you this story, but it turns that insurance companies does not pay if you make an accident and it is your fault, and if you leave the street and hit a tree, for example, or if you ride off-road. So it's all already in the fine print, but you wouldn't be able to find it if you don't read it. So spot tracker device, let me finish this spot tracker device. It's a good option, but it's not only the device. It comes with many prices that you have to pay to have some kind of safety. And spot tracker device cannot help you at all when you go to the local bar and drink with locals and finally been robbed or beaten, or when someone attacked you on the street or something like that. Spot tracker device is just for your family to be able to track your location. But if you have a problem, if someone decided to make something with you, the first thing that they will do when they search your luggage will find your spot, they will break it, and that's it, end of the story. So this is pretty much everything that I wanted to tell you about how to protect yourself and avoid problems on the long motorcycle trips. In my opinion, it's always better to think in advance and try to prevent problems instead of taking any kind of different measurements and try to fixing problems later. Better is always to predict and avoid problems in advance. That's why I told you all of these things in advance, and I really hope that they will help you. Russell Duncan, what about travel insurances? Do you buy it for every trip? No, I do not. And I just told you why. What I planned to find in the last trip was travel insurance, medical help, or anything during the trip. But the situation is very different. Tenere traveler, an open mind and smile are your best weapons. I fully agree on this. So if you have any questions, guys, now just let me know. But basically this is everything that I know on this topic, and this is everything that I do on my trips, and I never got any problems. And I'm 90% sure that if you do the same, you will have the same experience as me. Forrest, greetings Forrest. Missed the start. Yeah, it is what it is. Don't worry about it. The live stream that we have today is going to be online on the second channel on Tuesday evening 8 o'clock. So you're gonna see everything. You probably missed the whole list that I discussed here. Perspective, information, religion, big cities, alcohol, hotels, money, weapons, spot tracker device, and people behavior. Mike Noonan, oh, new guy. Hello, nice to meet you here. Russell Duncan, any specific advice for Spain and Portugal? I'm going in 2 weeks. I hope it should be quite easy, and lots of things are like Scotland. Spain and Portugal are wonderful countries. People in general are very friendly, very smiley. I don't think that you're gonna have any problems. If you just follow the rules that I just told you, you'll have zero problems. I can guarantee that. Spanish people, Portugal people, always smile, friendly people. I never got any problems. I've been to Spain many times. I've been to Portugal twice. No problems whatsoever. Let me tell you a funny story. In Spain, a few years ago, it was like 2015, 16. My good lady is Portuguese. It's amazing. You will love Spain. It's like, yeah, absolutely. I can confirm. So a few years ago, it was in 2016. I was in Spain, and somewhere in Toledo, one of the links of my chain just stuck like this, and it was sticking on the rear sprocket, making very noisy ride, like tick 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 tick. For some reason, it just worn out the rubber things, and it was left without any grease in. So the chain need to be changed, and I stopped in the town, but it was too late. And because of my very poor Spanish, I asked the lady in the hotel where I can find mechanic. And she explained me with her Spanish, but I cannot understand really. But what I understood is that it is at the end of the street, and tomorrow morning I can go there. So next morning, 7:30, I woke up and walked to that coffee, to that garage to find the mechanic. And of course, there was no one. Because, you know, Spanish people, they are always open late, like 9, 10 o'clock or something like that. So I was waiting until 8:30, no one. And suddenly, one of the neighbors, another garage next to it, came. And I asked him, when this garage is going to open? On very poor Spanish. And the guy said, mechanic is in the coffee over there, and pointed one coffee to me. And I went to that coffee. Probably I looked with a like very angry man. I opened the door of the coffee, and his neighbor told me that his name is Jose. He said, Jose is in the coffee over there. So I went to that coffee, opened the door, 8:30 in the morning, and the light was behind me, and all the people inside was sitting like this on the bar, and they looked at me like that, and I said, who is Jose? And one, on very poor Spanish, ¿Dónde está Jose? Asked. And these people look at me, and one guy said, and I explained to him that I have a problem with the motorcycle and need to be fixed, and he said, okay, see. So we went to fix the motorcycle, but all of these people there were so nice. They don't even, how I have to explain. If this happens in Bulgaria, probably people will say, who the fuck are you? What are you looking for? Or something like that. But Spanish people, they always smile, always friendly, no problems whatsoever. I told you many times, I'm gonna tell you again. If you don't have questions, that means you know everything or you don't know anything. Russell, in Germany, I went into the hotel and said, I have a reservation for Duncan. She thought I said Duncan and gave me in direction of the petrol station. Yeah, problem with the language. Have you seen the advert of the English school, the guy, German cost barrier? Let me find it. I'm gonna send it to you now. Watch it later. You will laugh a lot. Yeah, language is a problem. German language is very difficult, man. When I went to Germany the first time, it was in 2000, and the first, let's say, 3-4 months, I cannot get anything because I never used German language before that. The only German words that I know were Hände hoch, which means hands up, and I knew it from the old Russian movies, Hände hoch. And I knew nothing. And the first 3-4 months, I really tried to understand them. I watched them in the mouth, and they were speaking very slowly, and my brain was ticking like this, but I couldn't get even a word. And one funny thing was that every time when I sit on the coffee, for example, and I said one Coke, and they bring me one Coke. And when I drink the Coke, usually the waitress is coming and ask me, no Heine, which is mean, do you need another one? And because I don't understand anything, I just remain silent, and she brought me another one. And I drink this as well, and she came again and asked me, no Heine, do you want another one? And I was silent again, and she brought me another one. So I drank a lot of Cokes before I really understand the meaning of that word. And after that, it took me like 7-8 months to start to understand people, to understand them. It took me almost a year to be able to speak and they to understand me. And after 1 year and probably 4 or 5 months, I went to the bank alone. And do you think that I got some kind of very serious conversation? No, I was just there to draw some money, which usually requires like few words on the counter. That's it. That difficult it was for me. But not only German, and English as well. Now we're talking here, and you might find my language very funny and with strange accent, but try to speak my language and then we're gonna talk again. Poacher, what precautions you're taking for security in Russia? Do you take taking for security in Russia? Do you take a sat phone? Precautions for my trip in Russia? Zero, nothing. I do not have satellite phone. I do not plan to take any spot device with me. I will just try to, as usual, to trust my sixth sense and my feelings, and I will always try to avoid problems with the tips that I just gave you from the list here. So I've been to Russia 4 times before. I never got any problems with Russians, and I don't think that I'm gonna have problems now. It is never guaranteed, of course, but I'm sure that I'll be alright. For us, next topic, only funny stories. I've got a lot of funny stories, man. I laugh a lot. I might look like a very serious person on the videos, but actually in my real life, everyone who knows me in person said, man, you're a very smiley person. Why don't you smile on your videos? Because I said, on my videos, I usually try to explain something serious. And how it's going to look like if I smile all the time? I'm not a comedian. I try to explain something serious. So excellent, really important topic. She has called me for dinner. Hopefully we'll meet on the road one day. Safe, happy travels. Guten Nacht. Danke schön, Richard. Danke schön. Yes, we're gonna see on the road one day. The world is not that big. Go for your dinner and send my regards to your wife. Obrigado. Russell Duncan. I arrived in Hamburg and pissing rain. My boots were full of water. Got a newspaper to stuff into my boots, and that's right. The guy in the stop gave me a strange look when I told him I can't speak German. It is what it is. Tenere traveler. Ciao. Yeah. In German is choose. Wim Ross, what do you see as a good alternative for travel insurance? Do you have something else if you don't use travel insurance? I don't have any alternatives, and I'm not really insurance believer. I know that they might be very useful. I know that they might save your life and your pockets, but I do not have any alternatives. Now on my trip to Russia, I already got insurance, which is mandatory because of the visa. When I applied for visa, they asked me to make insurance, and I already made it. It is for 3 months. So I will rely on this insurance if it's help for anything, but I hope that I'm gonna have a trouble-free journey. So I don't know what to say about insurances. I just don't trust them, and there is a reason for that. Let me tell you another story. When I was in Morocco, we were together with Dima, and Dima broke his leg in Morocco. And when the accident is happened, we needed ambulance because it's obvious he cannot move anyway. But what we did he hasn't got any insurance. So what we did, we stopped the first car that came by, and Dima sat in the car, and we went together to the first hospital. And in the hospital, they checked the leg and they said, yes, it is broken, it needs to be plastered, but we cannot do it here. It was just a small clinic. and we need to transport him to the first hospital, which was 70 kilometers away. So they brought the ambulance, load him, and with the ambulance they transport him 70 kilometers away. And I went back and took the motorcycle and come back to this clinic. After that, we went to the second hospital, and in the second hospital they make an x-ray, and they said, yes, the leg is broken, it needs to be plastered, but we cannot make it here. You need to go to Quarzazate, which was another 200 kilometers away. So we've got another ambulance, transport him another 200 kilometers to Quarzazate, and Quarzazate, they plastered the leg. And I went to the local pharmacy and bought the crutches to walk around. And everything, the first ambulance, the second ambulance, the plaster, the procedure, the medical treatment, and the crutches that I bought from the pharmacy cost, guess how much? They cost altogether $100. $100. And I asked many people in Germany, in America, in Britain. I asked Germans how much this will cost if it's happening in Germany, and they said, oh, without insurance, minimum 5,000 euros. In America, without insurance, $50,000. In Britain, without insurance, probably like pounds. So we paid only $100. So now I am asking you, do you really believe that you need insurance? And even if you have insurance, are you really sure that it will help you in the situation that you might be involved? Let me give you a few more examples. If you ride on the street with your motorcycle on the public roads and someone hit you and it is not your fault, his insurance will pay for you, for everything, for your motorcycle and for your medical treatment. His insurance will pay it. If it's your fault, your insurance will not pay anything for you. Even if you have insurance, travel insurance that you sign at home, they will not pay because it is your fault. Insurance companies, they always work on the same principle. If they pay, they need to take money from someone. If you have your travel insurance and if it's not your fault during the accident, your insurance will ask the money from the insurance of the other person and will give it to you. If you fell down and broke your leg in your hotel while you walk around in your hotel, or you fell in the bathroom and hit your arm, your insurance will pay you because they will ask the money from the hotel. The hotel's got insurances, so they will ask the money from the hotel and they will give it to you. But when they don't have anyone to take the money, they're not gonna pay you as well. This is how insurance companies works. I'm sorry to tell you, but they are the biggest scam that ever exists. Yes, there are situations that you can get money, but they are very different. If you have some kind of race insurance or specific insurance that will cost you money, real money, like 500-600 euros for your trip, then they will probably pay. But this is different type of insurance. But these usual travel insurances, make insurance abroad, they pay for hotels, for walk around the city center. If you fell down on the city center of Madrid, for example, and break your arm, your insurance will pay because they will ask the money from the local municipality in reverse and will pay it to you. In this situation, insurance will help you. But when you ride a motorcycle, it's a different story. I told you, if it's your fault, no money. If it's off-road, no money. If you just leave the road and hit a tree and it's your fault, no money. If you are drunk, no money. If you're involved in some kind of crime, no money. So if someone come to rob you, for example, take your money with a knife, and during that process of taking your money, hit you with the knife and make you scar here, they are not going to pay because this is already a crime. So you have to know all of this. You have to read it in the terms and conditions of your insurance company and then sign. Let me tell you another one funny story until I wait for the questions. When I read the comment of Russell Duncan, how he was arrived in the petrol station in Hamburg with wet boots. 2 years ago, I was riding somewhere in Romania. It was during pandemic. And on some stage, my boots start to leak. And my feet became completely wet after 2-3 hours because it was all day on the rain. I've got my rain gear on the top, and my pants were Gore-Tex. I was fine, but the boots started to leak. So my feet became really wet, and because it was like 3-4 degrees, it was cold. And I decided to stop on the first petrol station and have a plastic box inside, just to get my feet warm and make them wet. And I stopped and went into the first petrol station, but because of pandemic, they not let me to stay in the petrol station. They said, if you have to pay for your petrol, pay and just go out. I said, I don't need to go out. I need to change my socks, and I need plastic bags and stuff like that. And the lady said, I'm really sorry, but you cannot do it here. So I took these plastic bags and took my new dry socks and went into the toilet. I said, okay, I can go to the toilet and make it into the toilet. So I went to a disabled toilet, which was a little bit bigger, and I sat on the toilet, actually on the edge of the toilet, and trying to remove my boots until I'm with all of the rain gear and everything, my pants and everything. It is very uncomfortable situation, because I cannot really move. I cannot bend myself that much. So I was making like this: remove the first boot, remove the wet sock, dried my feet with the paper over there, put the new sock, and it was like, oh, so nice to be warm and dry. Then I put the plastic bag, and I somehow managed to change the first boot. And then I got the second, and while I was pushing down myself to change this sock, I actually damaged the plastic cover of the toilet. It exploded like a bomb, in all sides, on small plastics like this. And I said, oh man, that is really, really weird. And I sat on the toilet itself to finish the procedure, and I said, if now I break even the toilet, this will be the worst experience that I ever had. Anyway, I changed the socks, I went out, and after me the lady went into the toilet, because of course she heard this explosion. And I was already outside, look at her, and she went inside and made like this. What is happening here? What this guy did? But it is just it is what it is. Poacher, I agree, any type of non-compulsory insurance is usually a rip-off. Yeah, absolutely. As I said, if you want insurance that will protect you very well, go and find different companies, but not the usual travel insurances that you can make in any office in the town. You need something specific. Russell Duncan, at least you have seated in the right place when you got to... Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming. Keep smiling, keep riding, and see you next week. Ciao.